everybody, and welcome to the throes of the after show, where you guys learn more about the players we have and GM, their thoughts on what you've just watched, and we just get to hang out and talk as people, not as our characters necessarily. Thank you guys so much for being here with us today. It's going to be a great episode going over Arc 4, correct? Yeah, 4. I thought you shook your head. I was like, bro, 3?
I don't know.
I didn't know. Going over Arc 4, which you guys probably just finished by the time this comes out.
Hopefully.
We're a little bit ahead of you, I'll tell you that right now. But to start us off, I figured we go directly to our game master.
Hi.
General manager.
Hi.
Assistant to the regional manager.
Gutenberg's Museum.
Hi, I'm Austin Brian Taylor.
Let's go.
What's up, guys?
So, as a GM, we've been going from like a large city in the beginning that we didn't really interact with the city much because there was a very specific thing for us to do.
Event, yeah.
To open fields where some of us got destroyed by elk, things
Happens.
like that. To a very small city, a big town, I guess.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you look for in your players or what's happening within the game that has you almost graduate them to a larger city area, to all of the different sprawling things that they can do in a place like that, making their own decisions?
Yes, I don't think it was intentional. Again, I try not to railroad y'all. If you guys had wanted to go to North Shulk off rip, I would have said that's totally fine. But it was nice how it worked out, where you had a event hub, a wide open wilderness, small town into big city. But I think the opportunity you get with a big city, and the opportunity I wanted to show y'all, was that how much can be done with your own agency in a big city like this. Of any corner you turn, any street you go down, any hiding hole you find, something is going to be there, and it is up to you to choose to engage with it or not, or choose the order of which you engage.
How, just from your perspective, coming up with something like a big city, knowing that people can do anything, like you said, walking down an alleyway and meeting somebody down the alleyway, how much prep work do you have to do on your end for something like a big city as opposed to South Shulk, which we just came from? Much smaller, very specific. This is a like thieves guild. We have someone's father there. It makes it very easy for you. Is this a lot more difficult, or do you have something, I don't mean to pry too terribly much, do you have X amount of characters created, and then when we go down an alleyway, you go, now they're there?
It is more work. I can avail this now. Y'all have known this for a bit. I had 40 pages of prep.
From the beginning?
Yeah.
All right.
40 pages of prep of NPCs, locations, quests that could be at those locations, incidents that occur, and then I would elaborate further on those once you guys would go down a specific rabbit hole, because I kind of did it where I sort of did 3 steps down every staircase for across the board, and then once I realized you guys were taking the first couple steps, I could go deeper. I could go deeper into that story of like, okay, they seem like to be really interested in this plot hook. Let me go in further on that. But a great benefit of having a big city like this is the fact that any idea that came to my mind, I could reasonably throw in somewhere. Of like, okay, do I want an underground fighting ring? That can be there. Do I want multiple taverns? Sure. Do I want XYZ? Every baron can have their own special, unique, hidden contraband thing. Go for it. Any quest could be anywhere. So it was very freeing in the fact that anything my mind came up with was like, that sounds fun. I can just throw that somewhere, and then it's up to you guys if you also find it fun. Because if you didn't find it fun, you toss on the wayside. There's still 39 other pages to go. Well,
yeah, some people really wanted us to do things, and we just never gave them the time of day to a certain extent. So you didn't have to go down
correct
those routes necessarily while you were going down other routes for us.
Yeah, it's a very freeing experience, but it's a lot more prep work as opposed to South Shulk, where there's less regions, less people, more characters connected to backstory, as opposed to you guys were Dorothy walking into the city of Oz. Like, you guys have so much more to see than you're used to. And so that's going to take time to build up established relationships and like understanding other characters and NPCs you meet. There's no, hey, I already know this guy. Everyone's new. So everyone's a new opportunity for y'all to play and develop a relationship with, minus a couple people you had met before, but you guys don't speak to them in these first couple episodes, really. So I'm like, you never speak to them. So, okay.
Gotcha. Well, in terms of more agency that you've kind of given us in this larger city area, I wanted to bring it over to you, Hannah, because I feel as though, like watching back through and even playing with you, in this area, in this part of our campaign, you've fallen more into that jokester role that I feel like you've been excited to do. You say more jokes, there's more puns, all that kind of stuff. Is there anything that made you feel more comfortable, or is there anything in particular that led you down this route of wanting to have more of a jokey persona from Zelaria?
Well, I think a big part of it. Oh my God, can I speak?
Don't cry.
I think a big part of it.
I know it's big. It's a big deal, but
No, I'm choking on my own saliva.
You got this.
I think a big part of it is me just getting like actually just comfortable playing. Which, what is it? This is arc 4 that we're talking about.
yeah.
So I think I'm at that part where I've kind of like established like how I want Zelaria to be, you know, and like just looking at like the people that we did already have in the group and everything. You know, some of the characters are a little more like on the serious side and everything. And what felt more natural for me, since my own personality is just very like jokey and lighthearted, I felt that was like an easier route for me to kind of like fall into. And I think it also just kind of balanced out the group a bit more. And so our characters became, you know, that side of the table.
What do you mean by that?
The side of the table that makes Austin facepalm.
Yeah.
I'm a very serious man.
Yeah, see, when you say that, you could still be a jokey character, but have a serious persona, you know?
There is, real quick, this is something I was going to do later on.
Oh, God.
But because you're talking about the jokey stuff and making you facepalm, I wanted to get to the comment section. What are we talking about? Comments people
Is this the
leave
theme
for
song?
us. And one of you out there was saying you were making the same face as our GM during a very specific moment of the show. We appreciate you being there, commenting on the YouTube. Thank you guys so much for watching. But was it that bad?
Every time it's that bad. It's just the right side of the table has a knack of just surprising me in very comedic ways and doing things that I'm not expecting and having to live with the consequences of your actions.
Wait, so what moment was the comment section referring to?
Nut juice.
Oh. Sorry.
So yes, absolutely deserved.
Yeah, like
1,000%?
and almond juice and stuff like that. It's not milk. I'm just letting you know. It's not milk. Also, editor, make sure you have like the perfect tune that goes exactly with how I was doing the song. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank
crazy
just
request.
auto-tune him. Just auto-tune.
Thank you.
Hit the garage band, boy.
Much.
Multicolored.
Little star. To get a little bit more serious, guys, I need you guys to calm down a little bit. You were talking about some people being more serious at the table. John, I feel like you're a little bit more of a serious player. Do you not? Do you nay agree with this?
No, I didn't take the comedic trope. Well, I took like the ignorant comedic trope, like he doesn't understand how these things work, or he's never ridden a horse before, or those types of things. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I am the serious character at the table.
I feel as though you're a little bit more serious in terms of what your story is, what you're trying to tell while we're going. And I think that you do a good job of slow rolling your backstory to a certain extent. Have you thought about that as points with which you're going to reveal things to us? Or how long into the story it's going to be before you say specific parts. I know you met with Drayden early on in this arc where he's leaving very early in the morning. You let everybody know at that point that you've stayed up almost all night, and that's something that your character does. Is that a moment you chose to let us know more, or was it just happenstance that he would have been up at the time you were possibly going to sleep?
No, I mean, yeah, it was definitely a moment I chose. I think it was coincidental that you said you were waking up early because when he was going to finish his description, I was just going to say I did not go to bed, right? Like if you hadn't woken up that morning, I would have said I'm just going to bed or whatever. Like I'm on the roof. So it was just kind of coincidental that we ran into each other. But I have been challenging myself to bring out my backstory moments without dialogue. That's like my goal, like for it to be like physicalized, or it to be something that is like happening with me or to me, or like we have other moments where you guys start to ask questions about things that I have going on. Like I don't think it's in this arc, but I'm just trying to explore like more non-dialogue ways of bringing those things out.
When you say non-dialogue, do you mean inner monologue, or do you mean expository?
Yeah, no exposition. I'm trying to stay away from exposition of like, this is who I am, and this is what I do, and this is why I do what I do, instead of just like, having burial rituals or having different.
I guess I mean expository from the perspective of you aren't just telling us in an exposition way, but you're going about describing how you do a burial, how you do a burial.
I'm trying to be so careful.
I stutter. Okay, sometimes I stutter, but that's dude. I do appreciate how slow that roll is to a certain extent, because I don't really talk. I think Drayden tells too much, but also tells nothing at all. Both sides of the coin to a certain extent, but you almost drip feed so that people can continuously have questions about you and your backstory and why you wear what you wear, what's going on with your arms to a certain extent. I appreciate that.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, I mean, it's I have planned a lot of different things in hopes and in anticipation of his backstory coming out. But like it can come out in any order. There's like things. There's his prayer book. There's the things with his arms. There's the history behind his armor. Like even the staff that he uses. Like there's all of these different things that haven't, like they've been touched on a little bit, I guess. But like, yeah, excited about the future with that. So
nice. And with the party dynamic, Michaela, you were very leery of Drayden in this specific arc. And when it comes to stuff like inter-party relationships or possible fights, do you look at that as an acting choice where it can be fun, where you're going against somebody else within the party, or is it strictly because you saw things in the game and you wanted to act upon those?
I think that it's a little bit of both. I think that when all of that stuff happened on the bridge with Drayden and Isolde, and specifically the moment that Drayden chose to step in front of Alis as she was going to stab Isolde, I think the gears kind of started turning. It's like, oh, well, that could have been a dangerous position for us. And then I think knowing that Alis might piece some things together when we went into Baron Zed's office and the Wesley Heron thing. So I think that was a fun thing for me above table to think, okay, what would Alis do with these pieces of information? I think it actually, but I didn't want to metagame, be like, oh, she would definitely be able to put these together. So I think I asked you like, oh, okay, like would she remember and be able to put this together? And yeah, I guess from there, it was kind of, it felt like an interesting dynamic to play with of, okay, we're all traveling together. We are just starting to get to know each other better. Maybe the trust isn't fully there. And so I think that it was an opportunity for me to show a little bit of Alis's, like just the way that she thinks and maybe not trusting everybody 100%, and that she would latch on to those little things and kind of piece together this story that was not totally true. So,
and then people do get to see you following him when he's on his morning routine. Without giving too much away of the future, it seemed like that resolved pretty quickly for you. Did you see Drayden as much more of a happy-go-lucky guy that day, and you just decided there's no way this man
Well,
can possibly be such a bad guy.
well, firstly, how did it feel to be a better rogue than the rogue in those moments?
Dude, well,
That was
okay,
crazy.
I wasn't a rogue. I was just a boy playing hide and seek.
Yeah, I guess Alis didn't know how to play hide and seek well. Yeah, I think that there. It definitely did resolve more quickly than I even anticipated. I think because also knowing that we're a party and we're traveling together, it's like I didn't want to like keep going after that like too hard. But yeah, there was that like kind of happy-go-lucky energy and like, oh, you're just out there trying to help people. Like, okay, so like trying to figure out like really what are these various pieces about Drayden. How is this coming together, and kind of realizing like, okay, maybe this isn't the situation that I thought it was. Still confusing, but not dangerous.
Heart of gold. Heart of gold. And then back to Austin real quick. For new players or people who might be wanting to jump in to a D&D session themselves, I think this is a great time to talk to you about having that more open world city feel like we were talking about before. As a GM, or if somebody's going to play with a new GM, new DM, you guys don't really know what you're doing yourselves, how much do you like a group of players that just do? Not necessarily hamstring themselves by the rules. Rules are important, and how to go about combats and how to go about looking around the city is important to a certain extent, but how much more fun is it, or how much better do you feel it is having a group of people that just have fun?
It makes my job a billion times easier because it does not feel as though the onus of action has to be on me. Whenever you guys are like, oh, I'm just going to go do this thing. I want to commend you, like, especially in this city, like when you are just like, hey, I'm going to set my routine. I'm going to go out every morning. I'm going to pursue helping people. And that's causes interaction. That's what gives you the first insight into the College of Fine Arts that you see. That's what gives you insight into so many of these different little NPC, these moments of like, I, as this character, would be interested in going here. As opposed to me being like, okay, guys, what are you doing? Anytime I ask that, it is the hand of basically this, like, it's the hand of God forcing you guys to go somewhere. But when you four have the onus of, I want to go out, I want to go interact with this thing, I want to go do this, it means that one, I've done my job well because you guys have something you're interested in. And two, you guys are taking agency over the story. It's not me telling the story, it's us five telling the story. Because whenever I have to push, it feels though like I'm guiding you guys along a path that I think would be interesting. But then when you four go do it, it's the most interesting path. So I think for game masters and DMs out there, if they can, this is a personal experience, just of what I enjoy, give them the world that they want to play with. And for new players out there, engage in the world your GM has set. If you go and do things, it makes the story run so much smoother and so much better than if it's the GM saying, all right, what are you doing next? What are you doing next? What are you doing next? When that happens, it feels like someone's taking too long in a board game as opposed to telling a story together.
So if people are going in and they're a little bit nervous, I know a lot of new players will be nervous to do things. And I've heard people tell me stories about how they don't want to step on each other's toes, which is very nice. Yeah. If you had a word of wisdom for players specifically that might be nervous to just jump in or to go off their gut instinct on what they want to do next, what would you say to them?
Base your actions within your character and be cognizant of the story you're trying to tell. If you do those two things, nothing you do is wrong. There are stories of like people being like, oh, my character would go out and murder these 15 civilians. Well, unless that's the campaign you're playing, maybe don't do that. Maybe the three people next to you may not have that be part of their story if that was not predetermined. But in general, if it's like, you know what? Like Alis, like, you did that. It was, I am suspicious of Drayden. I, as Alis, am suspicious of Drayden. So I understand the story we're telling. This still fits in the story. I'm not going to kill him, but I'm going to watch him and see what he does of my own time, of my own volition. Well, maybe you would kill him. I don't know if you found out he was a traitor. But regardless, like, that was the perfect example of like an in-character decision that caused player conflict. Player conflict can be really good. It has produced some of the best moments of this show, I think. It just has to be done with the awareness of You are not trampling on the story your friends are trying to tell, and you are keeping in mind the truth of your character. If you do that, it cannot be wrong.
Nice. And then you talked a little bit about the college that we went to, because we met people around the city that knew the college. We're going to art school, stuff like that. Hannah.
Oh, God. Okay,
You did go to school for music.
I did.
I think you guys might have known, but we can talk about that now if you want to.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, she has to talk to you guys about her time of music.
Graduating class?
Play us a tune.
2020. Oh, God. When year was that?
Uh-oh.
2021?
Oh, no. It was so much more recent than I expected it to be. I'm not going to lie. The class of 2021. So when we
No,
went in...
I lied. 2019 for music. Sorry. 2021 was my other degree.
She has so many degrees, she can't even remember.
Educated.
2019. Class of 2019.
When we went to the music halls,
Yes.
and it was described as everyone in there is dog tired. They're rehearsing for all of their shows coming up. I believe one group was going from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the rehearsals, with scant times that they could get some food, maybe take a small break. I think it was the Woodwinds who were going from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. or it was 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. With a little bit of a break. How did that feel to you, knowing that you had to do a bunch of practicing 4 different recitals yourself?
So I know the hours were a bit of an exaggeration for like how it actually is, but I definitely was getting flashbacks from my time as a music major. I can tell you, I definitely did not practice as much as I should have. I remember I went to my professor and I was like, I practiced for 2 hours the other day, and he's like, you should be practicing at least that every day. And I was like, oh, okay. And that was when I realized I was not cut out for a performance major, and I switched to music core.
Wait.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Difference is when you're a performance major, so you are required to do a junior recital and a senior recital. So junior recital is your junior year, 30-minute recital, and then an hour long for your senior recital. And then there's some other, maybe there is like extra classes or something, and your lessons are typically an hour long, which I still took hour-long lessons throughout it because, I don't know, piano major, whatever. But that's the biggest difference. And I had a really hard time memorizing my music, so I would have a lot of like performance anxiety as well. But yeah, the description of the music hall, it definitely felt like I was back in college.
Yeah, you had the biggest reaction when all of that was being described, how tired the students were and how long they were having to go for everything.
Yeah.
And then we went and talked to essentially the dean of it. And you did not appreciate that person very much. Was that from life? Were you bringing life to the show in that?
Well, hold on. First of all, I was reacting to Miss Vickens, you know? I wasn't like picturing, oh, this is my professor or whatever. I also don't remember what I said.
Are you rushing or are you dragging?
You were J.K. Simmons.
It's from Whiplash.
What?
From Whiplash.
What is happening right now?
Whiplash.
What was the question?
Did you bring those feelings that you had from your time in music school a little bit into our show, seeing that? Is it something that you couldn't divorce yourself from necessarily?
Yeah, I definitely can't divorce myself from it because I feel like it's so ingrained in me. But overall, like all the experiences that I had in my time as a music student were mostly positive. Even the hours of practice and whatnot, like I never got to the point where I was like extremely exhausted, but I know there definitely were people out there who would over practice. And oftentimes over practice actually has the opposite effect. Instead of being like so good at your piece, instead you start to make smaller mistakes because of the fatigue. And then you start to practice those mistakes into your routine. So it can actually hurt. You need to know your limits for all you music majors out there.
Rest is important.
Get sleep
Rest is important.
more than continued study. Get more sleep.
It's
It'll
balance.
help a lot.
It's about the balance. Yeah, I actually gave myself an injury, a piano injury. From overplaying a specific piece that was too large for my hands, I tried to play Rachmaninoff's Prelude in G minor. Go look it up if you're curious, but basically it's all octaves in both hands, and my professor warned me that if I tried to do that, I would injure myself, and I played it for like 2 hours straight, and I injured myself, and I got tendinitis.
Does it have a name like tennis elbow? Is it like
Tendinitis.
piano? Oh.
Yeah.
Pianoitis?
Pianoitis.
Something like that?
You know what?
United?
I'll bring it up to the medical people for a new term.
Surgery? Is that what you're trying to go like a Tommy John surgery thing?
Yeah, just something. You know, like if a bunch of piano players are getting crazy problems with their that's feet.
Rachmaninoff syndrome.
Carpals. Carpals. We do have a few artists within our group here, and we did meet someone that does like painting and drawing, things like that, inside the show. From having a knowledge of theory when it comes to art and color wheels, you specifically were talking a little bit about complementary colors when we were in there. Having a knowledge of art itself, when you're talking to somebody and choosing for your character either to know art or not to know art, how much does it help to know what you have in your background when it comes to drawing, painting, to be able to make more informed decisions in the show? Everyone here who does art, that's for all of you.
I feel like I didn't have an established background for my character, so whatever I was saying on the fly, a lot of it was coming from me.
Okay.
But I was like, okay, no, it can make sense. I was like, she's a druid, she's very naturey, she likes beautiful things. I'm like, this can make sense, you know? She's also wise, so maybe she just, you know, knows about art. I don't know. That was my decision for that.
I'm not an art student. I've never been inclined towards that medium, but having to GM someone who is a professor of it, there's a not a theory, but there's a method in improv called top of your intelligence, which is when you are playing a character, you are always the smartest that character can realistically be, and you pull from your own experience and what you would know. And so when I was trying to GM Balen, I was like, I need to know. I had to go through the archives of like everything I've heard in passing that I've got like from secondhand experience, from watching videos of like, what is the most I know about art? Because I have to make this guy sound like he actually knows what he's talking about. Even if he doesn't, even if I don't know what I'm talking about, he needs to know what he's talking about. And so that served me well, like top of the intelligence. And whenever you're creating a character around that you have to control or pilot, you have to be able to sound like you do, that you walk the walk and you can talk the talk.
I did appreciate you in that, because I started describing composition of a painting. Mm-hmm. You're like, why does it do this? And then I described composition, spiral specifically. Mm-hmm. And you were like, that is composition right there. So I do appreciate
that was impressive.
I appreciate that you picked that up right off rip, because that's what I was hoping would happen, without being like, describe to me exactly how paintings are structured, which was very fun to a certain extent for me.
Absolutely.
You have art experience yourself. Not only were we doing painting and drawing, things like that, there was a tree that you were making from, it started as a 2 foot by 4 foot, and then it became a 4 foot by 4 foot block of wood.
Oh, okay.
For reasons. It wasn't because anybody forgot 2 by 4. It was just so you could make a tree.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
How was it in the creation of that? Because you were... we separated from you. You had to go off and make your little dealy bop. Mm-hmm. How was it coming up with what you were going to be creating in that moment for... What was that guy's name again?
Treos.
For Treos, the crazy, massive
Leonid.
Treos.
The giant Leonid.
Well, in that moment, Ayla's had to show off whatever skills she obviously didn't have. So in that moment, I was just thinking, okay, what's something that Ayla could pull from artistically? And I was like, okay, nature. She grew up around trees. She would see this block of wood and think, well, that came from a tree. Let's make a little tree. So, like, carve a tree out of this block of wood. And then
burn it?
She saw that it wasn't going very well, so she thought that maybe that would add a little bit more flavor to it. You know, another... Exactly.
So she's cooking. She added heat to add flavor.
Yeah, sometimes it helps. Oh, John, just talking to you about the eccentricities that we do have to a certain extent here. How does it feel
What a lead-in.
when you... What happened?
Said what a lead-in.
Yeah,
Speaking
dude,
of
we're
eccentricities,
we're leading. Finnan, oftentimes, and you talked about how he has a difficult time in some conversations, doesn't necessarily understand everything, but he gets leaned on to fix some problems that the eccentric parts of the party create. How does it feel not being the dad, but being like, sorry about that. We didn't mean that.
The soothsayer. You were the soothsayer.
From your
babysitter.
perspective of character and having to go down that road to a certain extent in a bunch of scenes, how do you...
well, it's hilarious because he's ill-equipped, and I know it with a charisma of 9, which is a -1. Like, I can't even lie. I don't even... Austin, I learned, like, I don't say lies in scenes anymore because then he'll make me do a deception check. So I literally am like, I'm gonna stay quiet if I can stay quiet, but if I get asked a question, I'm gonna say like a half-truth. Maybe it'll give me persuasion.
Omission is still a lie. Lying by omission
That's
is
debatable.
I lost my train of thought.
lying by omission.
On to the next question.
Yeah, good. Okay. No,
You're fine.
I don't know. I feel like I kind of feel like you're referring to the Setmorian experience a little bit, maybe. But that's the only success. What?
That phase?
I wasn't referring to anything.
Oh.
I didn't have like a specific thing. It was just. It seems like it
I
happens
feel
all the
like in the campaign that's probably my most successful example of being a soothsayer, because I was like, I don't know, let me talk to the guy, and he was very receptive. I don't think I did anything. Like, I was, and then he just kept doubling down on how horrible he was being to you, and I was like, okay, all right, fair enough. So I don't. It's really fun. It's really fun being ill-equipped to do it, because I have absolutely no idea what to say or what I'm doing, and then it just kind of falls out. It just kind of rolls out, and we find a way around it. Yeah. I don't say any. It's also funny because like I feel like I just say like maybe the most reasonable thing you could say in the situation, and then just hope for the best. Sometimes it doesn't work out for me though.
I don't do that at all.
Yeah.
I do the exact opposite, which probably makes you have to. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I apologize. You probably have to do it because of me.
No. I mean, it's fun to pick up the other side of it and be the straight man in the scene, and you know, it adds to the fun. I get to be the serious one.
Yeah, but you're very unserious. So like you're being serious, but Finnan's a fairly unserious dude.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not like.
He's complex.
He's
layers.
He's always inquisitive.
The Russell Crowe to your Ryan Gosling from The Nice Guys. That's how
Ryan Gosling?
He's literally him.
Let's go.
I'm Russell Crowe. I haven't seen that one. Nice Guys?
Nice Guys, 2016. Phenomenal film.
Oh, wow.
Phenomenal film. Highly recommend you watch it. Great film.
What did you say the other day that we were our two sides of the table? We have the instigators and the contemplators.
Yep.
And I'm like, that feels
We are
kind of right.
It's also funny because earlier you were saying how like she was suspicious of you, and we literally had a conversation where I kept a secret from you because of how suspicious we were of you. And also it was funny because the way that it played out, like you didn't do anything. You were not being suspicious, but if looked at through a suspicious lens, everything you were doing could be looked at as suspicious. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
The roles worked out perfectly for that.
Yeah.
Is it so suspicious to rub a statue's calf?
Yeah.
Yes. That's not suspicious at all.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Not anymore. It's not suspicious anymore.
It still is suspicious
So,
to me.
feels like
just for context of everything suspicious you've done from like an outside angle, you had a one-on-one private conversation with one of the most powerful women in all of the continent of Meira, who then has you wanted in her bedroom.
Yeah, in her bedroom. Can't leave that detail out.
Save a person who is trying to murder your party, and then you have conversations with her while she's drunk at a bar. You constantly leave every morning away from your party without experiencing or explaining anything to them. Yeah. You don't tell them anything about the Ulfric clan. Anytime you do, you immediately try to catch yourself and go, never mind.
But we're not going to talk about that.
We're not going to talk about that. You are hypers. You also, you have very interesting moments of interactions with people, but then you also somehow beat one of the smartest men in all of South Shulk, or almost beat him in Dragon Chess multiple times, as witnessed by your party. You are you are the perfect cover of, like, you can put on the clown mask and then you keep on revealing you have so much intelligence underneath it, and then you just put the clown mask right back on, and then you're just like, hey guys, without anything being mentioned.
Get a little sus. Just a little.
Yeah, when you lay it out like that, huh?
Yes.
I'm back to being suspicious again.
I don't know.
Yeah, my character's too
Yeah.
many.
You're welcome.
Oh, dude, this is gonna be the worst transition ever to the
what?
next question.
Oh no.
You're a very cerebral player who sees what happens at the table and then has to make decisions therein on if you're going to call it out or not. I just wanted to know
read his notes.
how you weigh those decisions on if you're going to call somebody out, because I see you, especially in recordings, I see you clock something that your character does know from time to time. And then I see you're almost deciding, should I get a perception on that or should I just let it happen? Do you go through a weighing process in your head on, do I want to know everything all the time? Or do I want to leave some of it
Omnipotence or limited?
Yes, it is very fun knowing things. And I think Ayla's also likes to know things. Yeah, I think that there's, it definitely is like a case by case. It's like sometimes it's like, there are some examples where it's like, oh, I'm already going up to somebody and something's happening and it just so happens to line up that I learned a piece of information that way, and then it just kind of, well, I'm like, well, I'm already going anyway, and if I find out, then that's cool. But in terms of like revealing the information, or Ayla's definitely keeps a lot of stuff kind of close to the vest, and like figures out like where to like reveal like the information, you know, and like with who. And I think that that's just part of her, like, you know, nature of maybe not being totally like trusting like right away, or just trying to gather all of the information. Yeah, I think it's just me above table just weighing like, okay, is this the right time for this secret or this thing to come out, or is it not, you know? And so it's not a science. It's just, okay, this feels right, versus maybe hold on to it a little bit and see if there's a more interesting moment later on.
Fair. And I have one question for all of you.
Uh-oh.
Well, another one, because there was already one. Well, it wasn't all of you, because it was about art. But this one's for all of you. Mm-hmm. This is something that kind of happened at the end of the last arc, but then there was a bit of a through line through this one. And it's about Drayden.
And
When you guys learned how much he likes milk.
Oh boy, where are we going?
it's not where I thought he was
How
going
am
with this.
I relevant to this question? This seems to be more...
All of you, how did it feel when he went off to milk his own cow and then got very strict about other things being called milk? Is he a weirdo for that? Or do you guys find it nice?
Hey, do you think that the fact that you're asking this question means you already have your own answer to the four of us?
They find it nice. I appreciate them for that. Goodness, I always knew I wasn't weird for my milks.
That was one of those dad moments that you had, that you forced me into.
The milk one?
Yeah.
I forced all of you guys. I'm sorry about the nut. I'm sorry about the nut
what?
juice. I'm sorry about the... I tried, dude. Cutting it off made
it's
it
the
so
gift.
much worse.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
The scene I thought would die a slow, painful, quiet death has
It's
been
not quiet.
trudged
Get
up
the
like a
drive-by
zombie in the
milking.
night,
The drive-by milk and eggs.
shambling around this little interview.
Well, no, because we got it from our comment section.
No, we're not.
Was it your burner?
Oh, Justin!
Stop. That was great.
No,
You seem really hard pressed to keep on bringing this up.
no, because that was one of our genuine comment sections. Please put music in. That goes perfectly. I appreciate that.
So,
Yeah, the silence is great.
So
Yes,
I have
yes,
an
yes.
answer. I have an answer for you. So from Zalaria's perspective, she didn't find that weird at all. Maybe a little bit odd. I don't remember how I reacted in the moment, but obviously, like, my character's weird too with her spit healing method and stuff.
Yeah.
So like who her father is and who raised her, you know, like seeing Drayden try to do a drive-by milking, she's like, okay, it's a little bit weird, but okay, like that's his thing. Yeah, so yeah. Plus, I as a person have always wanted to milk a cow. Don't ask me
Yes.
why. I just want
Drink
to.
straight from the bucket.
I don't want to drink it from the bucket. I just want to milk the cow.
Oh, okay.
I know it's weird. Anyways,
I don't think it's weird at all. I think it's very cool.
Raw milk is not good for you. Do not believe the
I
internet.
will not drink the raw milk. I
What do
just
you
want to
think
milk
milk
it.
from a bucket is? What do you think milk from a bucket is? What do you think milk from a bucket is?
Oh, well, okay.
I love how triggered you are, but
It's
No,
such
no,
a
here's
nightmare.
the
I
deal.
enjoy calcium. I like drinking milk. This has become nightmarish for me.
The only reason
It
I said
sucks.
milk from a bucket is because I thought it wasn't going to be good for me to say, I want milk straight from the udder, dude. I want milk straight from the udder, man.
Anyways, that's my
I
thought.
feel the same way right now that I felt in the session at that time.
yeah, I'm
Equal
feeling the same.
parts confusion and mostly confusion.
see this man every Tuesday.
Oh, whoa, dude. Rude.
Have that on the record.
Rude. Well, everybody, thank you so much for being here with us. That's how we're ending. Just so you know, that was the capper.
Nice.
That was the capper to it. I thought it'd be a fun little jaunt down memory lane when it comes to the.
Let us know in the comments
Milk.
how you felt about that moment.
What's your favorite milk
Especially
Play
you.
along.
From
Play
our-
along at home.
Gordon
And-
fans.
And from now on, the comment section, we have a little
Country
jingle
Farms.
for it too.
Yeah,
so
you
guys-
too can be a part of this.
From the comment
section
section,
jingle.
Texans
comment
Utopia.
section.
I'll write
All day
something
long.
for you. I'll make a little.
Fair life.
Yeah, we have
You
musicians here.
guys.
We can make it happen.
Yeah.
I'll make it happen.
But y'all, thank you so much for joining me here today to talk to everybody at home so you can get an insight into how the game is run from our side of the table, how much fun we have as a group. Do you guys have anything to say to the people at home?
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
so much.
Thank y'all.
Enjoy the show.
Appreciate the comments. Appreciate the views.
Yes,
appreciate the likes.
yes.
Appreciate the everything. Y'all are great.
Thank you, thank you. That has been this episode of the Throes of the After Show. We will see you guys again after Arc 5. Have a wonderful time watching, and we'll see you later.
Bye.